Hello and welcome. My name is Sbusi and you are tuned into the South African Crime News podcast. And in today's headlines, we have bogus traffic officers reportedly involved in armed robbery. Hawks welcome additional apprehension on ABSA's missing millions allegation. And police launch manhunts for killers of 4 people. Without wasting much time, let's dive into this and more right here on the SA Crime News podcast. Moving on to our first headline. Bogus traffic officers reportedly involved in an armed robbery. The Provincial Commissioner of the SAPS in Mpumalanga, Lieutenant General Semakaleng Daphne Manamela, has ordered for the thorough investigation and arrest of possible suspects allegedly involved in an armed robbery near Msholozi in White River. The said robbery incident reportedly took place on the 10th of May on the R103 road. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga, according to the information, on the said day at about 12:15, 2 men driving in a white NP200 bakkie were on their way from Nelspruit direction towards White River. It is indicated that they were carrying cash inside the said bakkie, which belongs to a certain company. Its drivers reportedly drove through the stop sign without halting. It is said that the 2 men noticed a white VW Polo TSI without number plates, as well as certain individuals who were wearing uniform resembling that of traffic officers. It is further alleged that these individuals were wearing face masks. The driver of the bakkie was reportedly ordered to stop by these individuals. Thereafter, one of the men is alleged to have then requested for a driver's license, whilst 2 others, armed with firearms, began searching the vehicle. It is further reported that they demanded their wallets as well as cell phones, and it is said that they robbed them of 2 bags filled with an undisclosed amount of cash. Further than that, the victims reported that the driver was assaulted by one of the individuals in uniform. The victims also alleged that they were ordered to lie down before the assailants fled the scene with the robbed items. The incident was reported to the police at White River, whereby a robbery case was opened for the investigation. Police are currently using available resources to establish what actually transpired on the said day of the robbery, with the aim to ensure that suspects are brought to book without fear or favor. Up to so far, no one has been arrested as yet, but the police urge anyone with information that may assist in their investigation to call the Crime Stop number at 08600 10 111. Alternatively, members of the public can send information via the MySAPS app. All received information will be treated as confidential, and callers may opt to remain anonymous. Moving on to our second headline for today. Hawks welcome additional apprehension on ABSA's missing millions allegations. 2 accused, a male and a female, appeared in the Palm Ridge Specialized Commercials Court on the 12th of May 2022 on charges of fraud, theft, and money laundering related to the alleged stolen 103 million rand from ABSA. In a media statement provided by the Directorate for Priority Crimes Investigations, the accused apprehension emanated from the alleged ABSA's missing millions reportedly swindled by the late Xolela Masebeni, who was at the time the ABSA's specialist engineer at the Sandton branch between September and December last year. The Hawks, a serious commercial crime investigation in Johannesburg, together with the Durban and Pinetown Tactical Response Team, successfully traced and arrested the Malmouth-based traditional healer Kumbulani Elvis Ntombela, age 43, also known as Mabalengwe. The late Masebeni's former partner, Nonelwa Nondlazi, age 29, handed herself into the authorities accompanied by her legal representative. Authorities subsequently charged Ntombela and Nondlazi with fraud, theft, and money laundering on Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively. It was reported that Masebeni, who was shot and killed in February at his home in Ezibeleni in KwaZulu-Natal province, fraudulently transferred approximately 103 million rand into different bank accounts for the stated period. The latest pair was positively linked through bank transactions where they allegedly benefited from the reported ABSA's stolen millions. Meanwhile, subsequent to court proceedings adjournments, the investigation team nabbed and charged the sixth accused, a 24-year-old female and a partner of the third accused, Gershom Matomane, aged 29, who was a director of the Western Cape-based company Madonna Gubevu Projects Trading. Matomane was arrested in January this year, together with the second accused, Atembile Mpani, aged 21, Masebeni's partner, for the same charges. Both Matomane and Mpani were each released on 30,000 Rand and 50,000 Rand bail. They are expected back in court on the 30th of June 2022. The court remanded both Ntombela and Nondlazi in custody, and the case was postponed to Wednesday, 18 May 2022, for a formal bail application. As a result, the latest suspect is expected to appear in the same court tomorrow. Investigation continues and more arrests cannot be ruled out. And for our third headline today, police launch manhunt for killers of 4 people. The Provincial Commissioner of the Eastern Cape, Lieutenant General Nomatheteleli Mene, has ordered the activation of a 72-hour mobilization plan in order to trace, track, and arrest 4 male murder suspects who shot and killed 4 people whilst injuring 5 who were rushed to a nearby hospital for medical attention just after midnight on the 12th of May 2022 in Bethelsdorp, Gqeberha. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner, Eastern Cape, according to the reports, 9 people were sitting in the garage together with the others when 2 cars came and stopped at the gate of the house. 4 unidentified male suspects, allegedly covering faces, alighted from their vehicles and entered the gate. They are alleged to have separated the group of people who were gathered in the place and started shooting at 9. 4 people, ages unknown, died at the scene, whilst 5, also aged between 29 and 31, were injured and rushed to a nearby hospital for medical attention. The circumstances surrounding the incidents are currently under investigation. 4 cases of murder and 5 of attempted murder have been registered. No arrests have been made at this stage. The SAPS is appealing to anyone who may have information that can lead to the arrest of the suspects to please contact the nearest police station or call the Crime Stop number at 08600 10 111. In other news, Mfuleni police needs assistance in identifying body of unknown man. Mfuleni SAPS needs the assistance of the public in identifying an unknown male that was found lying in the streets in Mfuleni. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner, Western Cape, on Saturday, 7th May 2022 at around 9:30 p.m., Mfuleni SAPS members on vehicle patrols came across the body of an unknown male that was laying in the Mdloti Street Extension 6 with stab wounds to his body. The unknown male, believed to be about 30 years old, was dressed in a white tracksuit top, black and red tracksuit pants, and white socks with no shoes. A murder case docket was registered for investigation. Anyone with information that can assist police in identifying the unknown male is requested to contact the investigating officer, Detective Constable Nkululeko DAC, on 079 894 1579 or 021 901 9500. Alternatively, Crime Stop on 08600 10 111. The My SAPS app can also be used to submit tip-offs. Moving on to the Free State, where we see a truck driver being arrested for possession of suspected stolen copper cables. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Free States, Kroonstad Highway Patrol members arrested a 55-year-old man on Thursday, 12 May 2022 at about 9:30 a.m. for being in possession of suspected stolen copper cables. The members were busy patrolling the N1 in the Kroonstad to the south direction, conducting stop and searches. They noticed a suspicious white 10-ton truck heading to the north direction and stopped and searched the truck. At the back of the truck, there were worn-out tires. Underneath the tires, there were pieces of copper cables. The driver, who was driving alone, could not give a clear account of how he managed to be in possession of the cables. He was then arrested and taken to the police station. A truck and copper cables were confiscated. The copper cables have an estimated street value of about 82,000 rand. This suspect will be charged for possession of suspected stolen property and for being an undocumented person. He will appear in the Kroonstad Magistrate Court soon. And in Gauteng, unlicensed firearms are seized and suspects arrested. The proliferation of illegal and unlicensed firearms remains a concern, and in an effort to address this, members of the Ekurhuleni district, together with crime intelligence, operationalized information which led to the seizure of 5 unlicensed firearms at different places. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner Gauteng, on Tuesday, 10 May 2022, Ekurhuleni Crime Intelligence, with the assistance of the Ekurhuleni Flying Squad, followed up on the information in Tembisa about a hijacked truck. A search and seizure operation was conducted at the said place, and members discovered 4 firearms, live ammunition, bulletproof vests, hand radios, boxes of sports watches, firearm holsters, pellet guns, and bottles of expensive whiskey. A 43-year-old man was arrested for possession of unlicensed firearms, ammunition, and suspected stolen property. Meanwhile, Ekurhuleni District task team members followed up on information about an unlicensed firearm in Tembisa. Upon searching the identified premises, a Glock handgun was discovered with 24 live rounds of ammunition. The 48-year-old man was arrested and is expected to appear before court soon on charges of possession of an unlicensed firearm. The members' efforts and commitment to fight crime are commended. The public is urged to assist in the fight against crime by reporting any criminal activities on the Crime Stop line at 08600 10111 or anonymously leave tip-offs on the My SAPS app. And in George, police arrest 2 suspects with copper on the N2 highway. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner Western Cape, endeavors to eradicate cable theft, which impact negatively on the economy and threatens the livelihood of residents of this region, led to the arrest of 2 suspects on the N2 highway between George and Wilderness on Wednesday, 11 May 2022 at about 4:20 p.m. Members attached to the George Police conducted patrols along the highway when information about 2 suspicious-looking men were passed on to them. The vigilant members swiftly acted on the information and noticed the pair on foot carrying backpacks. They approached the men and ensued with the search. They then found copper cables in their possession. The police confiscated the items and arrested the suspects aged 22 and 26 on charges of possession of suspected stolen property each. The suspects remain in police custody. They are expected to appear in the George Magistrate Court on the 12th of May 2022 on the mentioned charge. More charges could be added as the investigation unfolds. Meanwhile, Ladysmith police operationalized information on a robbery which was perpetrated at a spaza shop at Jonathan Street, Ladysmith, during the early hours of Wednesday morning, 11 May 2022. As a result, they arrested 2 suspects aged 31 and 46 respectively. It is alleged that 2 men forced the entrance to the shop open. They entered the premises and overpowered the shop owner. The suspects took an undisclosed amount of cash and fled on foot. Investigation took police to houses at Nissanville, Ladysmith, where the suspects were arrested later. They remain in police custody and expect to appear in the Ladysmith Magistrate Court on Friday, 13 May 2022, on charges of a business robbery. In an unrelated matter, earlier this week, Barrydale visible policing members patrolled the crime hotspot areas when they spotted a suspicious vehicle. While approaching the vehicle, a white Hyundai i20, it sped off. The members pursued the vehicle and brought it to a halt. A search ensued, leading the police to confiscate 137 Mandrex tablets and 50 grams of tick, with an estimated street value of 18,000 rand, which were concealed in the glove of the vehicle. Police subsequently arrested the 29-year-old driver on charge of possession of drugs. These arrests are in line with the policing priorities of the Western Cape. And in ATM bombing news, a suspect sought after ATM bombing in Zamdela. The Zamdela detectives are on the lookout for suspects in connection with an ATM bombing at Tamsi's Chesanyama Harikwala section in Zamdela. In a police statement provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Free States on Thursday, 12 May 2022 at about 4:30 a.m., members of the Zamdela SAPS were patrolling around Harikwala area when they noticed that an ATM has been bombed at Tamsi Chisanyama. Preliminary investigations suggest that a commercial explosive might have been utilized to bomb the ATM and an undisclosed amount of cash was taken. No suspects have been arrested and a case of ATM bombing and malicious damage to property is being investigated. The police request that anyone with information may contact Detective Sergeant Taru Maju on 071 094 0570 or Crime Stop on 08600 10 111 or submits information on the My SAPS app. And in ATM bombing news, a suspect sought after ATM bombing in Zamdela. The Zamdela detectives are on the lookout for suspects in connection with an ATM bombing at Tamsi's Chesanyama Harikwala section in Zamdela. In a police statement provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Free States on Thursday, 12 May 2022 at about 4:30 a.m., members of the Zamdela SAPS were patrolling around Harikwala area when they noticed that an ATM has been bombed at Tamsi Chisanyama. Preliminary investigations suggest that a commercial explosive might have been utilized to bomb the ATM and an undisclosed amount of cash was taken. No suspects have been arrested and a case of ATM bombing and malicious damage to property is being investigated. The police request that anyone with information may contact Detective Sergeant Taru Maju on 071 094 0570 or Crime Stop on 08600 10 111 or submits information on the My SAPS app. While still sticking to the Free State, the Puta Dichaba police request community assistance to identify an elderly person and help reunite him with his family. The man was brought to the police station by a concerned community member. Unfortunately, the man is unable to remember his name or any details regarding his family member. And this is a media statement that was provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Free States. So any persons with information, please contact the Puta Dichaba Community Center Service at 058 718 0895 or 6 or 7 or 072 564 3200. Meanwhile, in Nongoma, police are appealing to the community for assistance in locating Welile Perfect Ndwandwe, age 37, from White City area in Nongoma. She was last seen by her sister on the 9th of May 2022. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, it is alleged that she left her place of residence and went to the other sister's place and never returned back. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing a pink track pants and black jacket. We appeal to anyone who may have information on her whereabouts to contact Detective Sergeant Mguni on 035 836 1013 or 073 291 66004 or Crime Stop on 08600 10111. Information can also be shared on the My SAPS app. And in the Free State, 3 accused convicted and sentenced to double life imprisonment for rape and murder. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of the Free State, the 3 accused were found guilty and sentenced to double life imprisonment for the gruesome rape and murder of a 35-year-old woman by a Bloemfontein High Court. On Saturday, 22 April 2017, the members at Bainsvlei Community Service Center received a complaint of a naked body of a female found in an unused reservoir near Libombo Street. 3 suspects were arrested following an investigation. Lebohang Elias Mankis, age 32, Boitemelo Gift Titi, age 26, and Smanga Edward Mtongwa, age 26, were all sentenced to double life imprisonment for rape and murder, each on Friday, 29 April 2022. The Forum of Mahwang Metro Station commanders congratulated Sergeant Tsebogo Walter Samusho's good work during the investigation. The successful conviction and sentence is an indication of being committed and meticulous about how we go about doing our work when given a task to complete. We always blame the system, but it is during times like this, when we bask in the glory of our hard work, that we notice that the system is actually our friend. The family of the deceased will now receive inner peace, said District Commissioner Major General A.P. Adams. Moving back to the Free State, suspects sought for house robbery. The Sasolburg police are investigating a case of house robbery after a domestic worker was tied up at home in Val Park. It is alleged that on Tuesday, 10 May 2022, at about 12 p.m., she was busy cleaning in the house when she heard an intercom of the main gate ringing. She went outside and found an unknown male who indicated to her that he is there to fix the gate's motor. She opened the gates and the 2 unknown men appeared just near the gates, and all 3 suspects entered the yard. The suspects pointed her with the firearm, pushing her into the house. They tied her up and ransacked the house, taking 3 televisions, computers, 2 Xbox sets, games, and a grey Hyundai i10, which was later recovered abandoned in Everton, Gauteng province. This was a media statement provided by the South African Police Service Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Free States. So anyone with information regarding the suspects may contact Detective Constable Trifina Hadebe on 060-376-9324. The Fezile Dabi District Commissioner Major General Moses Makubo requests the community members to be more vigilant of this type of crime. Do not allow strangers access into the premises and confirm with the employer if they must accept people coming over, concluded Major General Makubo. And in the Western Cape, a former Fidelity guard sentenced for theft. A former Fidelity security guard, Jonathan Fenter, aged 31, was convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment with an option of a 10,000 Rand bail by a George Regional Court on 11 May 2022 for stealing cash from his employer. Fenter stole a bag with 100,000 Rand in November 2021. In a media statement provided by the Directorate for Priority Crimes Investigation, on 20 November 2021, the accused transported 107 bags containing cash from the Fidelity base to SBV depot. On the contrary, only 106 bags were booked in at the depot. Through internal investigation, Fenter confessed that he took the money. He took his manager to his personal vehicle where the money bag was found. It was discovered that he had already broke the seal of the bag and took 2,230 rand. Established on his admittance of missing cash, the matter was then reported to the Hawks Serious Organized Crime Investigation in George. Fenter opted for a 10,000 rand fine and was further declared unfit to possess a firearm. And in the Free State, 2 suspects to appear in court for stock theft. The Warden Police conducted rural safety blue light patrols, which led to arrest of 2 suspects and seizure of 47 sheep and the vehicle that was transporting the stock. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner of Free States, between Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning, 11 May 2022, Warden Police were conducting patrols aimed at addressing stock theft in their policing precincts. Members came across a suspicious blue Toyota Bakkie pulling a trailer with 2 occupants loaded with sheep. They questioned the suspects. Upon further investigation, it was found that the documentation for the stock was falsified. They were escorted to the police station where Freda stock theft units discovered that the 47 sheep were freshly brand marked in order to cover other markings. The 2 suspects, aged 27 and 46, were arrested and charged with possession of suspected stolen property. They appeared before the Warden Magistrate Court on Thursday, 12 May 2022, facing charges of possession of suspected stolen property. I want to thank our vigilance members for their excellent work by ensuring that criminals of stock theft are brought to book. Let us refrain as citizens of this country to assist other people in proceeds of crime, because we also going to be held responsible for our own dubious actions, said the Free State Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Bail Motswenyane. And in KwaZulu-Natal, another suspect charged for cash in transit robbery. In a media statement provided by the Directory for Priority Crimes Investigation, the Hawks, Serious Organized Crime Investigation members in Richards Bay, successfully linked and charged Maklinga Dube, age 28, for cash in transit robbery, which happened at the Kwadlangezwa area in Mthunzini. On 24 November 2020, a cash-in-transit vehicle went to collect cash at a service station when one of the security guards went inside to collect cash whilst his colleagues remained behind. A group of armed suspects allegedly accosted 2 security guards at gunpoint and robbed them of their service pistols. When the security guard carrying cash was about to reach the cash van, he was also robbed of an undisclosed amount of cash. The suspects fled the scene in their gateway vehicle, which was later found abandoned at Manzamnyama area with an empty cash box. A case of cash-in-transit robbery was reported at the Mthunzini police station, and the case docket was allocated to the Hawks. A joint operation comprised of King Ecetshwayo cluster tracing team and Mthunzini detectives was conducted. During the operation, 2 accused were arrested and charged accordingly. Their bail was successfully opposed, and they appeared in the eSikaleni Regional Court on the 21st of June 2022. Dube briefly appeared in the Mthunzini Magistrate Court on the 12th of May 2022, and his case was then postponed to the 17th of May 2022 for legal representation. And in the Western Cape, Kleinvlei police arrest the suspects for possession of unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner, Western Cape. In the early hours of Wednesday, 11 May 2022, Kleinvlei police members found suspects vandalizing electric equipment in Dagama Street in Kleinvlei. Upon searching the suspects and equipment, they confiscated a 9mm Star pistol with ammunition. 2 males aged 30 and 40 were arrested and detained on a charge of possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Once charged, the suspects are expected to make a court appearance in the Blue Downs Magistrate Court on the mentioned charge. While still sticking to firearms, in Durban, police operations net firearms. The Provincial Special Investigation Units and Tracking Task Team conducted an intelligence-driven operation at Camperdown policing area. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner KwaZulu-Natal, the information that they received led them to a house in Lion Park where a 33-year-old man was found. A search was conducted and police found a 9mm pistol with 22 rounds of ammunition. The team proceeded to the second room where they found a 40-year-old man who was found in possession of a pellet gun and 11 rounds of ammunition. Both suspects were placed under arrest. They will appear before the Camperdown Magistrate Court on charges of unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition. And now moving on to Pietermaritzburg, where men were nabbed with firearms and drugs. On the 11th of May 2022 at 2 a.m. in the morning, the police were following upon information about unlawful firearms. Upon following the information, the police arrested a 25-year-old man at Fatam Taliyane in Plessis. He was caught with 2 pistols, 44 live rounds, and drugs. He was detained for unlawful possession of firearm and possession of drugs. In a media statement provided by the South African Police Service, Office of the Provincial Commissioner KwaZulu-Natal, the police proceeded another place which is also under the Plessis policing area where they found the second suspect, aged 40. He was in possession of a pistol and 9 live rounds of ammunition. He was arrested for unlawful possession of firearm, and both suspects appeared at the Pietermaritzburg Magistrates Court. And that is all that we have for today. Until next time, my name is Sbusi, and this has been the South African Crime News Podcast. Signing out.